How do you develop yourself as a leader? How do you build a massive organization all around the world? Well, it has to do with influence, people skills, and your leadership. In today's session, we're going to be diving into the 9 principles of leadership, as Dale Carnegie has highlighted in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you want to be a better leader, stay tuned. Hello, my friend. My name is Petrovick, and thanks for stopping by today. If you're brand new and seeing this video for the very first time, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to have lots of these videos highlighting this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. You're going to see it on my YouTube channel here and also on my blog. You can go to terrypetrovick.com/get-inspired to see all the different sessions that we've had on this amazing, life-changing book that was actually written in 1936, believe it or not, but is just as meaningful and powerful today as it was when it was first written. So let's talk about the 9 principles that can help you become a more effective leader. I'm going to go ahead and read these off to you so you kind of get a glimpse on what we're going to be covering here tonight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the most powerful ones that can impact your ability to inspire your team to produce more, to create more, to help you create that quality of life that you absolutely want to create for yourself and your team. Principle 1, begin with praise and honest appreciation. 2, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Principle 3, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing somebody else. Principle 4, ask questions before giving orders. Principle 5, let the other person save face. Principle 6, praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Principle number 7, give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Principle number 8, use encouragement, make the fault seem easy to correct. And principle 9, make the other person happy about doing the things that you suggest. Now, which one of those really do you think you need to really work on to be a more effective leader? You know, when I first got started in this business, I really wanted to make this thing work, and I was working with one of my coaches, and he talked about your circle of influence, and I laughed and I said, well, my circle of influence is more like a dot. Yeah, I didn't feel like I could influence anybody. The reality of it is that everybody influences somebody in somehow. People at the lowest possible jobs, the people with the highest possible jobs. We all have a certain level of influence. Now, from a leadership standpoint, in a business building standpoint, in network marketing, I think it's really, really important that we utilize some of these principles. Most of them really are spot on. Principle 1, begin with praise and honest appreciation. You know, when you're developing somebody, a lot of times you have to believe in them before they believe in themselves. You have to give people a high reputation to live up to. We talked about that in the last session. Well, when people believe they can, give a presentation, or they can do a 3-way call, or they can produce a YouTube video for their online marketing, it builds confidence. And a lot of times it's these baby steps that we have to kind of grab people by the hand, walk with them in the trenches as a leader, and let them know it's going to be okay. And when they do make mistakes, principle number 2 here is to call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. And principle number 3, gosh, I can do this one all day long. It's talk about your own mistakes first. I can tell you every way to do a presentation wrong because I've done them all wrong. And you know what? I've still built a 7-figure business, and you can too. And it doesn't matter where you start. It really matters where you want to go. And it's not about perfection. It's about progress. As long as you're improving yourself every single day, you're doing well. I read a book called Achievement by David Bird. And I know David, he's given me some coaching on a personal level. He's one of the highest paid executive coaches out there. He said at the end of every day, if you can ask yourself 2 questions and you can say yes positively to those two questions, you're going to know you're on the track. First question, did you do your very best today? Did you do the very best you could today? And number two, are you growing? Are you growing? And if you can answer yes to both of those questions, you are progressing down the success pathway. And understand, if you've never read the book The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, I highly recommend that one, because in that book, Jeff talks about doing the things that seem insignificant in the moment, but when compounded over a long period of time, will take you up the success curve or down the failure curve. You see, it's always about doing the little things. And in terms of encouraging and inspiring people, you have to give them, praise. Everybody loves praise. People crave praise. Now, we started chapter 1, principle number 1, with don't criticize, condemn, and complain. Well, this, from a leadership standpoint, is totally the opposite of what most people do in terms of criticizing, condemning, and complaining, talking about how somebody did it all wrong. If somebody does make a mistake, principle number 5 is let them save face. Let them save face. Give them a high reputation to live up to. Tell them that you believe in them. Say, hey, look, that presentation that you did, I thought your opening was just amazing. And I thought the way you ended it was incredible. Now, if I could give you one suggestion, it would be to talk a little bit more about the benefits to the prospect in that middle section there. So again, whenever you're trying to give people encouragement, it's kind of like the Oreo effect of coaching. You want to give them some praise, give them the suggestions, and then give them some praise. So it's the cookies, it's the cream, it's the cookies, right? So just remember that, when you're working to develop people, and people want it to work. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this. And in network marketing, the interesting thing is that we're dealing with a volunteer army of employees. They're not really employees, they're independent business people. But we want them to feel good when they're around us and not feel bad because they're maybe not performing at the level we want them to perform at. And I can tell you one of my biggest frustrations is that I see potential in people that they don't see in themselves. And sometimes you just have to be patient as a leader and let them grow. I say you gotta love them and let them grow. So that's kind of what Dale Carnegie is talking about here. And when they do improve, principle number 6 here is praise the slightest improvement. Again, it doesn't need to be, a big shift or change. Find something. I promise you, if you have your radar open and aware, find something that you can say good and compliment somebody on what they're doing about building their business. Keep piling on the praise. Keep piling on the praise. Keep believing in them and let people know that you believe in them. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending your time with them. And you know what? I promise you, they will start showing up at a much, much higher level. Principle number 7, give people a fine reputation to live up to. Most of the time when we do this, people will actually show up at a much, much higher level. Because not only do you believe in them, but you see them as somebody who is very effective. You see them as somebody who is working on themselves very, very hard, even though, they got their own stuff and you have your stuff, I have my stuff, and we're always a work in progress. But as long as somebody is trying, man, I will be there with them till the cows come home. But if somebody is not teachable and coachable, that's when I start to maybe let people go a little bit more. But if somebody is trying really hard and really giving it their all, I will continue to work with them. I'll do the role plays with them. I will show them what to say, show them what to do so that they can create the results really that they want. Because it is a challenge, and everybody is, in fact, a little bit different. Principle number 8 is use encouragement and make a fault seem easy. Gosh, we've talked about this a couple of times now. So if somebody does prospect somebody, for example, could be online, could be offline, and they start, sharing what they did, and you see that, ooh, they really shouldn't have said that, or ooh, they sound kind of needy, or pitchy, or hypey. You really want to make that fault easy to correct and say, hey, look, when I first got started, I made it all about me, and I felt like I just needed this to work so bad that I just had to find a way to make it, work for me. But the reality of it was, when somebody found out it was really, I was making it about me, it was a turnoff to them. When I make it about me, and energetically, when the prospect feels like all I'm trying to do is get a sale, that's kind of a turnoff. So what you really need to do is, I never talk about people changing anything, but what I talk about is shifting. People don't mind shifting the way they do. Sometimes people don't like the change though. So you have to listen to your words that you use. So when you are in that leadership position and you're wanting to give somebody some good coaching, talk about them creating little shifts. That's that slight edge that we talked about earlier. And as they, make those shifts, they're going to see some really nice growth, and they're going to overcome some of their challenges for sure. Principle number 9 is make the other person happy about doing the thing that you suggest. And the best thing I can tell you about that one really is, we all typically, hopefully, when you brought somebody on your team, you had a session with them and you talked about their why. Why are they doing the business? It's the thing that really is going to cause them to work a little bit later in the evening, make a couple more calls. Instead of doing 1 call a day or 2 calls a day, maybe they do 3 calls a day. What is it that they want? What's their desired outcome that's going to cause them to dig a little bit deeper, push a little harder, and give a little bit more effort? That's what you really want when you're, trying to inspire people to go back to their why. Why do they really want to do this? And, I always say, until you have a why that makes you cry, you're probably not going to be performing at your highest level. And what I mean by that is, it's got to hit you hard in the heart. It really, really has to be meaningful for you. For me, 20 plus years ago, when my son Matthew came into my office that one Saturday morning, he says, "Dad, do you still love me?" And I'm like, break my heart, crying. I mean, that really broke my heart. I can tell you that if I'm in front of a big room and I share that story and I think about him, it's very emotional for me. And today, one of the big reasons I do what I do is to make sure that my wife Amy and I can support our daughter and son-in-law Nick with their son Bash. Bash was born with a very rare congenital disease that basically, he's got really tight tendons, so he can't really bend his elbow, he can't really bend his knees like you and I can. He cannot touch his nose, he cannot raise his hand over here. In about a month, he's having both legs operated on in Florida at a clinic, and the surgery is going to cost like $1 million. I mean, $1 million is like crazy. Thank goodness for some insurance for, that my daughter has for Bash. And, you hate to see some little person, 8 years old, going through all this pain. And, what Amy and I want to do is, we want to give Bash everything he needs. We want to give Christina and Nick everything they need. And sometimes it's us being there to support them so that they can be there for Bash. If you want to check Bash's story out and you want to be inspired and you want to instantly put gratitude into your life, go to bashdimpleton.com or Bash Hagelin. That's HAGELIN.com. The kid's amazing. Everywhere he goes, he inspires people. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. I don't want you to feel sorry for him at all, because he's the happiest little dude on the planet. Great sense of humor. But you know what? He's got a tough journey ahead of him. His is different than yours and mine. So for me, that's why I push myself. That's why I want to grow. That's why I want to be a more effective leader. I want to be a more effective communicator. I want to be a better marketer, because I know if I help you get what you want, then I will get what I want, which is being able to help Christina, my daughter, and my grandson Bash. So that's really, really important from a leadership standpoint. Always bring it back to that person. So we've covered a lot of topics here in this book, how to win friends and influence people. The network marketing profession is an amazing profession to help you grow as a person. I say it's kind of like a personal development course all in itself. All your issues are going to come up. All your limiting beliefs will come up. And you get to, decide, is it going to be a roadblock or a building block? Are you going to get bitter or are you going to get better? See, life is about choices. Amy and I have a philosophy, and I'll end with this, is that only good things happen to us. No matter what happens. I mean, bashing his limitations, his physical limitations. It could be horrible, but that little man has blessed us in so many ways and given us so many different thoughts that we would not be the same people we are today if he had not been through his journey and now our journey. So I appreciate you. If you got value of this, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, I'm putting content out every week, sometimes multiple times a week, sometimes every day. The personal development side of network marketing, I absolutely love. It's helped me become the person that I want to be, and it's not the what I do, but the who I am that I'm most proud of, and I'm always working on that as well. In terms of generating leads, making sales, and building a residual income that can give you the ability and the freedom to take a week off or 2 weeks off or travel the world or give your kids or your grandkids amazing experiences. That's what this profession can do for you, my friend. So again, I'd love to have you part of the conversation. If there's anything in this video that stood out for you, if you got any struggles that you want to share that maybe I can help with, I'd love to help you. That's what I love about this business. That's why I bought this book and started taking this course in 1984. That was a long time ago. But it's a classic. So appreciate you. Remember this, you have a choice. Make it a better than terrific day and an absolute prosperous one, because you, my friend, absolutely deserve it. Until we speak again, bye-bye for now.